streaming on YouTube in just a minute, and we'll be ready to go full speed ahead.
Last second sip there. Okay, it looks like we are live.
We're out of the gate.
Hey, everybody. My name is Harlequin Murray. I am your co-host this evening, as I am every Monday night. This is our team Zoom for everybody who is on Ellen Winn's team. And we always open this up to guests and members of other groups within DAC. But anyways, we are here to just welcome everybody and to ask questions and get some training and that type of thing. But if you're here for the first time, welcome. We're excited to have you here with us. Looking forward to getting to know you. But I have the honor and privilege of introducing Ellen, who is my sponsor within the company. I've known Ellen for about 20 years now, and she is a phenomenal lady. But anyways, just a little bit about her for those of you who don't know. She's from Dallas, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta, and has lived in the area pretty much her entire life, or within a few miles of here at least. But anyways, she has a strong background in the restaurant industry. She has worked in management for large organizations, done training, district manager. She's owned a couple of pizza restaurants of her own that she started from scratch. She owns a limousine company and an insurance agency to, to this day. And she also owns her DAC agency, but she has a strong background also in network marketing, and that's how I met her initially. She was actually the national training director of a company and my upline in that organization. But anyways, without further ado, Miss Ellen, you want to go ahead and take it away?
I do, Harlequin. Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. Appreciate you being here every week. And for those of you that are joining us live tonight, appreciate you taking time out of your Monday to spend a few minutes with us. I like to make these brief, get to the point, but also give you guys an opportunity to answer any questions that you may have, any challenges that you're running to, or anything that we need to discuss DAC. So let me get us into screen share mode, and I'll go through, as I usually do, our top recruiters for the week and do some recognition, and then we'll open up for questions after I cover a few brief points here. Get in a share mode. There we go. Awesome. All right. So for the week of 11/10 through 11/16, we had me coming in first place with 3 new recruits for the week. And in second place, we had Abundance Awesome Wealth with 2 new recruits for the week. So to be named on the leaderboard, just a reminder, you had to have at least 2 personally enrolled brokers to be named. I know many of you had 1 broker recruit. Congratulations to you as well. And you know what? If you didn't have anybody recruited, but you've been out having conversations and you've been inviting people to take a look, congratulations. It's just a matter of time before you will be on the leaderboard because you have 2 or more recruits for the week. All right. All right. Also, I love recognizing our new brokers who have gotten started and completed certification within their first 7 days in the business. So congratulations goes out to Credit Gems LLC, MCM and Associates, Prosper Dreams, and Sojourner Dry. Congratulations to all of you guys for taking that immediate initiative and taking DAC seriously, getting started, going through the certification process so that you're out of the gate running. When you start having those conversations, you're automatically going to be receiving full commission at the 40% level as a brand new broker, right? If you remember, if you don't go through certification, you're considered a referral partner. And those who have not completed certification are only earning 10% of the bonus revenue versus 40% of the bonus revenue that you earn when you're a certified broker. All right. Also, I want to point out a couple of trainings that David has done recently. And I'm sorry I wasn't selective on the screenshot that I did here, but this was last Friday's video. If you've not seen it, you need to go back. David talked about team building and really did a deep dive into the compensation plan on the whiteboard, which is my favorite way of going through a compensation plan. I was talking to Harlequin the other day about that, and she said, "Girl, you're talking to somebody who grew up in Amway." Where you're drawing circles and you're showing that exponential growth potential. And David did that. So I want you to make sure you watch this. If you haven't already seen it, that's available at dacyoutube.com. dacyoutube.com. You're going to look for the one that's titled Agency Owner. It's in the huddle recap list there, but the title of it is Agency Owner. It'll be well worth your time if you haven't already seen it. Talking about those huddles, every day, Monday through Friday, there is a 10-minute huddle to help you hear a story, help you get fueled up and fired up and ready to go out and motivated to talk to business owners. You'll hear some success stories from other brokers who are having success. You may have some questions along the way that those questions might pertain to you, and you'll be glad that you heard the question and the answer that's responded. So those huddles open up at 11:25 Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, 11:25 a.m. Get on early so you can do a shout out, let everybody know where you're dialing in from, and then also hear those testimonials. It's about 10 minutes. Sometimes they go a little bit longer, but he'll do break, and then after break, he'll allow for questions and people sharing stories and so on. So just know those are there. Our Friday huddle is always followed by broker updates, and that's where you're going to get that longer message from our CEO and founder, David Rutt. So make sure you're plugging into those if you can. And then every Monday, we do our team Zoom here at zoom.ellenwin.link. And these are great opportunities for you to see someone face to face on a Zoom and be able to get your questions answered live. Okay. And then I talked about this last week. This is about the third week that this has been out. If you have not seen this and are not sharing it with people, you're missing a great interview. This interview is where David Rutz was spotlighted on the Entrepreneur Spotlight Show. And it's a great interview. David talks about why Bank Breezy, why our funding platform is so different than someone just applying direct to one of the lenders in our network or possibly applying to the wrong lender when they're looking for alternative capital. So it's a great testimonial video of what makes us unique. He even talks about the opportunity for CPAs, bankers, lawyers, whoever, to become referral partners, folks that have a network of business owners that they're already dealing with where they can become referral partners or become certified brokers. Talks about the whole process in there. So make sure you watch that and then start using that to give credibility to what you're doing here and share a story. My company was just recognized on the Entrepreneur Spotlight Show and be able to share that link. Okay. That's in your emails. It's come from corporate a couple of times. So you should have that. If not, let us know. We'll post that in the chat. All right. The next one that I want to make sure that you've seen was today. And this is where David's talking about a reset button. That really resonated with me. I'm going through a reset right now with my physical health, and I'm doing that intentionally. So yesterday I pressed the reset button and went through. I'm wanting to lose a few pounds, like 10 pounds, and I'm kind of hit this plateau, and I'm struggling with getting those last few pounds off, and I'm going, okay, what was it that was working for me when I started on this journey the last time where I was really looking to drop some weight and get to feeling healthier, like after the holidays last year? I'm being proactive and going into it ahead of time. And I went back and looked at what it was that I was doing, and it was going through a fast. So I started a fast yesterday, doing a 36-hour fast. I'll come off of that tomorrow morning, but I feel great today. And back to the reset, I'm pressing that reset on me physically, but it also gives me mental clarity. I understand and have felt it before going through that fasting process where you really get some good clarity. Whatever it is, you don't have to be fasting, but really analyze what it is about DAC that attracted you here, something in the training that really resonated with you, and something that can help you press that reset button to get you off the mark and across the starting line to start having more conversations with business owners to help them in their time of need when they're looking for funding and can't get approved at their local bank. All right. One more time, and then this is the last slide, and this is a reminder that our Bank Breezy platform page or replicated websites are active now. So you can either use davidallencapital.com/your ID number, or you can use bankbreezy.com/your ID number. Both pages work, all pages, whatever somebody clicks on, get your funding offer or apply now. Every one of those buttons lead to the exact same application. So you can't go wrong by sharing a page. I personally prefer either this Bank Breezy page or the business funding page on the David Allen Capital site because I think it's more generic and opens the door for more business owners to want to apply. I never lead with the gig funding page because that's narrowing my audience. And I don't lead with the core funding page because, again, that is narrowing my audience. So those businesses that are doing 15, 25, 35,000, if they see the core funding product, they may go, oh, I don't qualify without reading the fine print. So I like those that have, like I'm casting a broader net using the Bank Breezy page or the business funding page of the DAC website. Okay, that's all I have on slides. Let me get us off a screen share. And we'll open up and see if any of you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, success stories, anything you want to share. Harlequin, you got any comments before we see anybody raise a hand of anything that needed to be mentioned that I failed to mention?
No, I think you got a lot of the information.
All right,
But
awesome. Anybody?
I don't see any questions in the chat at all.
Oh, wow, we got a quiet group tonight. And y'all are going, well, Ellen, you just shared with us everything that we already know because y'all are plugged in and you're paying attention to the DAC Zooms and you're listening. And that's a good thing. But y'all that are on here and that are plugged in aren't the only ones that watch this replay. So, not to be redundant, but more than anything, being able to be here to answer any questions that you have. Nobody got success stories? Oh, the one I didn't tell was that the pizza restaurant that was talked about today, and that was a $25,000 funding offer for a pizza restaurant that's only been in business for 6 months. That's unheard of. That owner, if they went out and were looking for that funding at their local bank, they're definitely going to get told no unless they have collateral for that money. If they're going out and they're trying to apply online, it will be hit or miss as to whether they found a lender that would loan to them with only 6 months time in business. And then if they did find that one lender that would do that, the chances of them getting a reputable lender that's going to be open and honest with them about how the funding process works, what their payback terms are, and then a lender that's not going to go for blood and guts if that business owner gets into trouble and can't make their payment because their sales drop. Did you know and do you realize that every one of the lenders in the DAC Bank Breezy network are willing to work with our clients if they run into a hard time of sales dropping or something happening that prevents them from paying back as they agreed to. All they need to do is reach out to the lender, communicate directly with them, and ask for their funding terms to be renegotiated. And every one of our lenders are happy to do that for the client. They want to make sure the client succeed, and it's not all just about them getting their money and getting their money back. Sure, they want to get their money back, but they don't want to do it in an unethical way. So you're in a good place here with DAC. All right, if nobody has
And
any questions,
actually, Ellen, I'm going to
yeah,
make a comment on that because
okay.
it's actually somebody that you know.
Mhm.
Um,
He always comes to mind on that story, but yeah, tell the
yes,
story.
yeah, it's somebody that Ellen got funding for, and someone went and reached out to him and said that they could get him more money at a lower cost. And so he went ahead and got money from them. And I was helping him try and get an SBA
SBA.
loan for longer term funding because he had purchased a restaurant that was owner financed for the first year, and then he had to find different funding for the rest of it. But he went and got money from another lender, and about 2 or 3 months later, he called me up asking me if I knew of anybody who could help him sell his restaurant because that other lender had gone and he had missed some payments and they said, "Oh, well, you're in default and we're calling your loan due." And they went in every single morning and emptied his bank account out. And he's like, "I have no money to buy chicken to sell in my chicken restaurant." So that's the type of lenders that are out there. And, that's somebody that Ellen and I personally have met with, and we know him personally. So we know it's not some, story that, your neighbor's friends, neighbor's relative heard the story. It's somebody that Ellen and I personally know. And, it's out there.
It
And
happens. And yeah, thank you for that, Harlequin. Actually, that reminds me of something I was thinking about earlier today, and I didn't put it on a slide. I've got a client that was recently funded, and she reached out to me asking could she get a copy of her loan documents. And of course, they were sent to her initially. She just can't find them. So I requested those from Wade to get them over to her. And I called her. I didn't, she texted me asking me that, but I called her and had a conversation because the first thought that went through my mind was, okay, why does she need these? Is one of these other lenders that's been bombarding her with calls since she got funded? Is somebody else trying to make an offer to her, like Harlequin just explained? And I had a phone conversation with her and I said, do you mind me asking why you're looking for those documents today? And she said, oh, I'm just looking at what my payoff terms are and what my payoff date is. And I said, okay, that's great. I said, not that I don't want to get this to you. I just wanted to, I'm in protective mode. And I know you've already shared with me that you're getting calls from lenders every single day. Why is that, guys? Listen up. If you don't know this, when we do that soft FICO pull that really doesn't hit a credit report, the credit bureau now has that information internally and they're selling those business owners contact information to other brokers and lenders in the alternative capital space. So you've got dozens of alternative lenders that are now going in and buying what's considered a trigger lead from Experian, where we pull the soft FICO pool. And then they're calling and hounding anybody that has applied with us. They're hounding them, and many times they'll say, hey, I've got your application right here on my desk. Looks like we're just missing your bank statements. And they'll talk people into sending information and making it sound like they're legitimate, but it's all that they're just hammering and pounding your clients when they apply. Second piece on that is my client had shared with me that she was getting those calls. And when I was saying, is there a particular reason you're needing your document? I turned it back to that. I said, hey, I just wanted to make sure that one of these companies that you were telling me is calling you was not trying to talk you into flipping the money that you got with us into a what sounds like a better offer with them. And she said, oh no, I'm just sick and tired of them. And then I told her the story that Harlequin just shared about one of our clients who previously had gotten funded, fell for it when another one of those companies called and said, we can get you a better deal at a cheaper rate. He got that money, paid us off, and then later ran into hard times and they cleaned out his bank account. So I used that as a story to warn my client, who I've also met in person, to warn her about the lack of ethics out there in this space. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. All right. And I see Ray had a hand up. Hey, Ray, how are you tonight?
Hey Ellen, how you doing?
Good, good.
Well, while you were explaining about the soft pull, I didn't have a question at first, but while you was explaining it and how the bureaus they sell those soft pulls, those leads. Is there any way, like if they're doing that, can the small businesses themselves contact the bureaus and say that they don't want their information sold to third parties? Can
They
they do that,
can.
or are they able to, or they're not able to?
Oh yeah, they can, and they can call in and raise cane with them on being able to share. And a lot of times there's a disclosure on credit bureaus and stuff on what they're allowed to share and so on. But
Hmm.
it would literally take an act of Congress to shut this down as a whole. And it's horrible that they do that, but it's a reality in the space that we're in.
Okay, okay. So they would have to contact the bureaus themselves.
Yeah, if they're getting
When
called, they should call and let them know, hey, I'm getting bombarded with calls and they're telling me they bought leads from you. Yeah,
okay, okay. Or could they do it like before they decide they want to, use a lender,
they could
so that?
try. I don't know if that would be effective or not. Harlequin, do you know on that one?
I don't, but I think that would be a fabulous idea if we can find out.
Yeah, yeah. I was just wondering. It was just a thought when she was explaining that. So yeah,
Yep.
but that's all I have.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ray. Always appreciate your questions and comments. Anybody
Thank
else
you.
before we wrap up? Nada. All right, guys. It's been a great day. I hope you have a great evening and hope to see you on an upcoming Zoom in the very near future. Maybe tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern time on our huddle. All right. Take care, everybody. Have